Rectum.
Hello. Yeah, that was from Rectum.
Nice one.
Welcome to the podcast, Hat Chat, episode 126. If you're taking count, I am. With your hosts, Hat Films, a.k.a. I'm Chris Trott.
I'm Ross Hornby.
No, I'm Alex Smith.
Is there a better way to get into that?
I don't know.
We kind of just...
Yeah.
Your hosts, I'm Chris Trott.
You're just getting you're getting the information out there, right? If by chance a person who doesn't know who we are starts listening to this podcast
At 126 as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
then we need them to know who we are, and then they can go, wow, I'm never going to listen to those people ever
I
again.
feel like we spend more time talking about that,
Yeah.
like the idea of it being a bad idea, than actually just getting it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Ultimately.
But yeah, thank you, Rectum, for that fingal.
Rectum did one
Really
before.
good on it. Yeah, they did one
Rectum's
before.
a music machine.
They're pumping them out.
Thank you, Rectum.
Rectum was pumping them
We
out.
should all thank our Rectums.
Thanks, Rectums.
Cheers, Rectum. You're keeping it in.
Indeed. We got our hypotheticals as voted on.
If the Rectum fails,
Is that it?
that's shit. Your shit hits the fan. So it hits the floor.
Yeah. It's good science. Strong medical advice here already.
I know.
And
Keep your rectums
long may it continue.
good.
We're
Don't
in
shove like huge things in your ass.
Wow.
Oh,
You don't have to.
come on.
Because it'll ruin it. It'll
Don't
ruin your rectum.
gatekeep.
Huge. I said
Huge.
3 times huge.
2 litre
things.
Coke bottle, too big?
Yeah, 2 litre Coke bottle is too big. What else should we say is too big?
Bottle of Frosty Jacks?
Yeah,
The big one?
Again, you said
Strongbow, bigger bottle.
Again, yeah, the big ones. No, don't.
Bottle of Lambrini.
What if
It's all
it's
booze.
I feel like why are you shoving so many bottles up your ass? It's just literally, if the
About,
more you
like-
stretch it, the more you're going to damage that tissue. That's all.
Is it Tia Maria or something like that? So
Yeah.
it's like a really thin, but then
And then it
gets
really widens
bulbous at
out.
the
That's
bottom.
nice. That's the
What about
surprise. Yeah, that
That's
one needs a
okay.
real boot to get home.
People are saying don't gatekeep.
That's
Gatekeep.
funny.
That's good. Thank you.
Gatekeeping.
Very good.
That is clever.
Well, shove what you want in your ass.
You
then.
guys should be on this podcast.
You'll have to
not
deal
us.
with it later when your ass is dribbling every time you walk.
Oh.
There's loads.
Is this something you've encountered?
It sounds like
Yes.
yeah.
This is a warning this is a life message.
Too many Tia Marias.
I had too many fucking strongbow balls up my ass.
Strongbow. Yeah.
You got.
Like,
No, he's got strongbow
bottom end
legs.
first.
I feel very strong.
Shove the bottom end in first. Fuck it. My hips shouldn't really allow it, but it works. Anyway,
What the hell are we talking about today?
well, we're not talking about shoving things in our asses. Or maybe
Well,
we
you don't
will,
know.
to be
You don't
fair.
know
I
what
don't
hypotheticals
know.
are.
Okay, well, let's have a
But
look
they've
at this.
been wonderfully voted on by our excellent Patreons. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you. You are
Patreon.
excellent.
Patreon.com/hatfilms if you want to take part in this frivolity of voting on our hypotheticals of the week. And they voted on the following question.
What do they do?
What is it, Ross?
The first question is, you're a side character in a horror movie. You're aware of the fact that if any one of your friends is going to die, you're most likely to be the first. What do you do to maximize your own chances of survival? To be clear, you don't believe that you're literally a character in a movie, but you're completely convinced that you will die first. You're also getting some protagonist vibes from your best friend.
Okay. So we're aware of like the horror concept of I feel like we're in a horror scenario now.
Which game
And
was
that
it?
guy's like the leader.
What game was it we played recently? Well, not recently. We did a
Oh, the
sponsor
one
thing.
where they went to the summer camp.
Yeah, that's so where you are basically in a horror film and you are the kind of
Friday, isn't it?
protagonist.
Huh?
Fucking something like
Friday the 13th, wasn't it?
that. No, but it's got that vibe. It was like some kind of... What the fuck was that game called? I played it all the way
Quarry.
through. Quarry, yeah. I played it all the way through. But yeah,
You did. I didn't.
yeah, I played it at home. It was alright. But yeah, basically you are doing that. However, like, so okay, so in this scenario you feel like you're going to die first anyway.
All the clues are lining up. You're wearing a red shirt. You're also most nervous going into this place. And then the best friend is like, don't worry, guys. Everyone keep calm. It's going to be fine.
But like, it's every horror film, they do something that's so stupid, or they linger somewhere that's so obviously not where you're supposed to linger. And obviously, that's the whole point of a film. It's like, oh, some jump scares coming. But like,
Are you going to run away?
if you, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't fuck with the vehicle that already works, for example, or I wouldn't like. Oh, look, it's running out of fuel. I'll make sure I fill it up before I fucking go. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot
here
of
in
these.
summer camp today.
There's a lot of like kind of
Okay.
basic things that have to go wrong. But like, yeah, I mean, I guess in this scenario, what kind of horror film are we thinking? It Follows? That's different.
That is, you can't really engage with the target, can you?
No.
Don't watch
No,
me.
well, the target is the person chasing. I guess if you kill that person, I can't remember. I need to watch it again. That was good. What about
No, yeah, if they die, that's the end of it, right?
Babadook?
Babadook. I mean, the easiest way to solve that whole problem:
Get rid of the
bag,
kid.
drown the kid.
Drown that kid.
Don't worry, guys. I'll be the mum. I'm getting serious protagonist vibes from this kid, and then I'm gonna go. Sorry, kid. I appreciate that there are factors, beyond your control making you such a prick. But bad news, I'm a prick too, and I've got a Hessian bag.
And that's going to maximise your chances of survival.
What about
No, but it'll make me feel better about dying.
I killed a kid, so I feel pretty guilty.
But I'm going to die anyway, so...
So you're going to take out a kid with you? That's fucked up.
Why is that fucked up?
Well, it's like a...
Who's going to look after the kid? I'm just leaving a burden on the state.
It's... If you haven't seen Babadook, there is a really annoying kid in it. But I think that's part of the drama. Part of the psychology of it all is the stress on the single mother. And then
they're just really annoying.
Then obviously him having this kind of weird kind of character that he's created.
This creepy man that lives in his cupboard.
That, it's a really kind of...
It's a good film.
Creepy film. They did that well.
Yeah.
I fucking hate any horror film with just spiritual shit in it or Christianity. It's like, what the fuck? Who cares?
You'll hate the Da Vinci Code.
But then what about...
It's not a horror film.
What about...
Not a horror film. It's like Annabelle or whatever that bollocks is as well, where it's like... Let's get out a cross. That's going to do it.
Oh, God. Anything that uses a doll. Anything that uses, any kind of child on, a tricycle.
Yeah.
It's a child.
Well, you shit on
I'll tell you what I do. I will get a piece of 2x4 and I will beat the living shit out of that doll.
What about twins holding hands?
Twins holding hands?
Sure. I'll be like, all right. Are you enjoying holding... All right, hello.
Blood comes out the elevator.
Huh?
Blood comes out the elevator.
That's a health and safety
Floods the
issue.
hallways.
I'm just like, man, what the hell's going on here?
What about...
No, just get my phone out, start filming.
A guy wearing a mask with a knife, Mike Myers, is in the house.
That seems much more threatening, but that's when you need to go into...
That's a survival mode.
Kill or be killed, right?
That's the horror film then. You're in a house, an old abandoned...
So you're in your
log cabin.
house.
No, log cabin.
Okay.
So you're in your house.
Okay.
We've been in your house for a spooky
There's a slasher coming.
The layout is...
You're not the protagonist. Somebody else is the protagonist. We need to include that because that's in the hypothetical. But for me, I always think about this. I'm like, if I genuinely have to defend my house or home and I can prepare for it, I'm thinking a knife taped to the end of a long pole would probably be something I could make in my because a spear, man, tale as old as time. Spear is the ultimate.
Do you have the three objects near each other?
I could make a knife spear in less than a minute. Yeah. If you came to my door, knocked on my door, and went, make a telescopic knife spear, I'd be like,
it's an emergency.
It's an emergency. Grab a monopod, just tape a knife to the end, and then you can at least tuck it away.
Yeah.
Or buy a sword.
Don't do it in advance.
Or buy a sword. But the problem with a sword is they're much more difficult to use than a spear.
Yeah, if you're in a
you just have to do the stabbing.
Yeah, exactly. So literally, this is a historical fact. The spear is the greatest weapon for an unarmed individual. In times of yore,
but
when we didn't have guns,
run up Chris Trott's stairs with a fucking spear and see where that gets you. Because it's not. Obviously, it goes round a corner, so and it's a narrow staircase.
Or
it's
a bendy spear then.
A bendy spear.
Yeah, but
one with a loose.
What are you going to do?
Join in the middle.
I'm going to do a right angle spear.
Unless you got a fucking crossbow, a staircase is always going to be tricky for any weapon. Maybe a little shiv. I take the shiv off of the stick.
So it is detachable. You're not duct taping it.
Cattle prod?
I am duct taping it, but I carry more duct tape. Huh?
Cattle prod.
Cattle prod.
Where are you going to get one of those from?
I'll buy one on the black market. Also, by the way, the tapping the table.
Someone
made a very
I'm trying
keen
to,
comment saying, every time Smith bangs his hands, the mics all go funny, and that's true.
Sorry
true.
About that. Sorry.
No, I don't know. I think just a machete.
You have to get real close and personal to
I've already stabbed you. I've got a 6 foot long.
So it's me versus you.
Well, in this scenario,
Ross is Mike Myers.
But you've already told me what you've got. I'm going to get a projectile-based weapon.
From where?
So this is just escalation of weapons.
In the UK,
I'm going to get a can of Lynx and a lighter.
I'd still take a spear over that.
We
can do it if you want.
Fair.
Can we?
But there's much more of a cautious. You have to be cautious.
What about?
Or if I just splash some fuel on you and just.
You're coming towards me. Oh yeah, if you manage to splash fuel on me.
Get him! Just a little cup.
That's not a bad idea. Just cups and cups of fuel.
You're going to burn your house down.
Just leave one cup in every room in your house of fuel.
Yeah.
Petrol.
No, don't drink that. That's my fuel.
Oh, I don't put any labels on anything, so don't.
Because that way they'd know.
Yeah.
I don't want them to
What
know.
the fuck is this? Oh my
That's
god, you
fuel.
alcoholic son of a
That's
bitch.
fuel.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fuel.
actually petrol. That's
I did put it on my side table. It looks like a drink of water. It's not.
Yeah.
It's fuel.
Yeah.
It's to fuck with the murderer.
I don't think
yeah.
that's a
What
good
about
idea.
like half spear? What's like the name of a spear that's shorter and has a thing on it?
Javelin.
You guys need swords. Swords and a good pair of fencing gloves.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, you come at me with a sword. I have a homemade spear.
He's
You
coming
can't
up.
get close
I've got a
enough.
katana.
He's coming up the
You can't get
stairs
close
though.
enough. He's coming up the stairs.
How long is your spear?
I'm doing this.
Give me a range.
6 foot.
6 foot.
That's how long a regular spear is.
That's fucking long to get down your stairs. Think about how
I'm standing at the top of the stairs with a spear. You're trying to come up with a samurai sword. I'm going.
the samurai sword I have is probably about
Yes.
yay long, which is like what's that?
Ross, again, look at what I'm doing.
a meter.
I'm doing that.
And
at
I'm,
the top of the stairs.
and I'm doing this. Yeah, I throw it.
You throw it. Now you don't have a weapon.
Fuck! Give it back.
You're hoping the velocity of throwing a samurai sword would embed in his body.
Yeah,
But it
You've got
doesn't.
No, it wouldn't, yeah.
You're operating under the weeb fallacy that like samurai swords the sharpest sword in the world.
I trained with the blade.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
sharp. It's sharp.
It's sharp.
It's like any blade. It's a sharp blade. But it's
Have you
just like,
sharpened it?
No, I haven't needed to. I've just oiled it.
Is it that sharp? It came sharpened.
You should fucking feel. I don't even know where
But
it is now.
this is the other problem with samurai swords. You're likely to injure yourself.
I cut myself. Fuck.
Yeah. And you go for a big swing, overswing it, and just
It's like, oh.
cleave straight into your leg.
And I was like, it's not even full tang. It's just a costume one.
There's so many benefits to a spear. Like
Yeah.
the pointy end is far away from you,
Okay.
and I don't think.
What about shotgun though? Because you know, in 1889, you've seen it all now, right?
Yeah.
There's a part, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a part where somebody has a shotgun down a really narrow corridor. It's like that's the most inefficient weapon you can have because they're just like turning and they're tapping both sides of the wall.
Yeah.
It's like that. You do not want a long form like hunting rifle.
Yeah. You're a sawn
in your
off.
home. You want a sawn off.
You want to go into the garage,
Yeah.
grab a hacksaw,
And
take that
then-
motherfucker down.
Yeah.
Oh, no room stands a chance.
And then saw off the registration.
yeah.
And sell it
And then sell it,
to a friend.
and then drive away
And
from the enemy.
drive away.
But anyway, I'm not the
I
protagonist.
was on the boat in 1889 until you did the drive away thing.
Right.
I was
Right.
in a different
Use it in
scene.
place.
at
Oh
that
yeah.
point.
A
No,
sawn
there's
off.
none
I
of
mean,
that.
you can get hold of a sawn off fairly easy.
Oh
you can
yeah.
get hold of a hang. To be fair, what about just an?
How connected
Wait,
are you
wait,
with
wait,
the
wait,
criminal
wait.
underworld?
Okay,
Ross?
so what-
because it's not easy to get hold of a
Let's think
handgun in
about
the UK.
Scream.
Well,
For example.
hypotheticals turned into a home invasion.
Yeah.
It is a home invasion. It's
You
a
need
horror
to
film.
prepare, Trott.
And
Especially you.
It's not just horror movie. Horror. It's a horror scenario. You're being chased in your own home by someone who's decided to wear a
It's
mask.
horrific.
But like Scream always baffled me, and obviously the whole fun of it is it's a big chase and whatever, and it's like they're chasing through mansions where there's plenty of space to do all this shit. But they're wearing flowing gowns and like
Yeah, they're gonna
tripping
trip
over
up.
things,
They're
and
gonna
somehow
trip
manage
up.
to have the agility and like dexterity to get up and like continue on when it starts. Just like all you need to do is just throw a box underneath them, they'll trip over,
Yeah.
then turn around and kick them in the fucking face until your foot hurts.
Did the Scream not focus on the fact that like he was always
Take off his mask.
chasing like a woman
Stop!
normally? Like it was
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
like that they were like, oh my god, I'm a pathetic woman. Not that I
Drew
believe
Barrymore
that, but
making
that's-
popcorn. And,
Yeah, like, that's the
but
way
still,
they
there's
phrased it.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
So that made it more scary because ultimately, if you're Dwayne the Rock Johnson
Yeah.
in Scream,
He's not wrestling fit though. He's movie fit.
yeah,
Well, he does
that's
look
true.
like, it looks like his skin wouldn't be penetrable by blade.
I reckon if he flexed, he could pierce his own skin.
Yeah.
Like it looks really thin, doesn't it? Like
How-
he looks
My
like
skin's like tissue.
it looks like a detriment at this point, where it's like it's just so big and bulky. He can't get down my stairs.
Yeah. Same as Dave Bautista.
Batista, yeah.
Like he looks like he is uncomfortable to walk.
Do you reckon either of them are natty?
Netty.
Naturals
Natural.
or like roided.
Yeah,
I
natty.
think they
reckon
may have
they
roided
both
to get to
roided in the
they
day.
probably roided to
Yeah.
get to a size and then they've maintained it
Or
maybe,
they-
but
they-
they might just
isn't it
they're not
called, like-
in sports, so they don't have to not. Right?
Isn't the new legal thing HRT, which is like
Hormone
HRT.
replacement therapy
yeah.
Isn't that
could
what you
be.
have after you get like a hysterectomy?
and menopause. There's
menopause,
lots of
yeah.
reasons for hormone replacement therapy, but yeah, it could be.
Like that's like what they said. No man, I'm not on roids. I'm on hormone replacement
HRT.
therapy.
Fuck.
I mean, it could also be. I think there's something called
Sounds
trombolone that I've heard a lot about.
That's an instrument.
Trombolone.
That is an instrument. I've messed up there.
Dwayne Johnson on the trombone. So I get ripped.
After a while, though,
Wow, he's getting gains. Great gains, bro.
Sick games, bro. on that
if
trombone.
they made it legal, and if I don't know, if
With
they
what
made
you're
it
saying, you
freely
would do it?
available over the counter,
Yeah.
it's tempting because like
you have to work for it, so you have
but
to,
it
you have to
turns
put the
like
work
a
into it.
year's work into like 3 months work.
Mm.
Like that's the reality of it. It's ridiculous. Like
Right.
it does make you develop muscle so fast. I think on average, most people, if they work out over a year properly, the max you can increase your muscle mass is about 25%.
Right.
So like if you're natural, you're eating right, you're exercising right, you can hope to achieve 25%
So
more
what you're
muscle.
saying is it's pointless doing it naturally. You may as well get
Well,
juiced.
Imagine if all of us was just like in a year's time
Yeah.
just as big as fucking The Rock. We're here just
It's all natural.
holding over our little mics, just like, yeah,
No
we
neck,
got
just
fucking
a
big.
triangle. I've got,
We did it.
What are these muscles
Traps.
called?
Or are they traps?
Traps
Yeah.
that like connect to the top of my ears to my shoulders.
Yeah. I only work on these. What
Just-
the fuck?
I'm full trap, man.
Yeah. It's kind of awkward looking.
well, also we'd look like a lot of other podcasters, wouldn't we? Like, cause think about
Yeah,
like, a
like
lot
Joe
of
Rogan.
popular podcasters are
Joe
all like
Rogan,
that. Like,
just like,
"Hey, I got massive enhancement and I sit around a microphone for a living.
I think it's just Joe Rogan.
Is it?
yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. I
It
don't,
just seems his podcast seems to get stuffed down my throat constantly, and I don't know why.
It's
Like
'cause you-
every time I watch them, I'm like, he's
keep
being an
watching
idiot.
Jordan Peterson videos.
'cause
and
you're a
Andrew Tate
bigot.
fanboy.
Yeah, huh?
You're an Andrew Tate fanboy and Jordan
Yeah,
Peterson
I'm
is your
a
daddy.
I'm a what's it? What would he come up with?
I don't know
Don't
what the name
hate
for it is.
on Tate. I don't know. Yeah, I did think this the other day. I was looking through my YouTube recommended, and there's so many gun.
Oh, fuck,
there's
I'm a
so many
bigot.
gun videos. Like
I'm a
there's-
redneck.
There's a million gun like photos. There's a bunch of stuff about like military hardware. Like they must think I really want to go to war, and I'm like, I really don't.
Honestly.
I really don't want to go to
But
war.
you give the impression that you want to.
I'd thrive.
Just to play with all the guns.
I just have a panic attack as soon as I start getting mortared in a fucking trench.
This is real!
Oh, God.
it's real!
After
Yeah.
watching a bit of All Quiet on the Western Front, I'd be like,
Have you only seen a bit of it?
mm,
It's really good.
yeah.
Wasn't it?
Have you seen any of the
ads?
actual footage from the Ukrainian war on Reddit?
Yeah.
Because that does a pretty good job of not wanting to be there as well.
Yeah.
I've literally got like the
Yeah.
whole NSFW stuff like blurring and whatnot.
Yeah.
And some of that combat footage just they forget to tag it sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I just saw a gif of a guy being blown up
Yeah.
by a drone.
It's pretty easy
Rough.
to do.
Yeah.
Awful.
But that's the reality of what we're looking at.
And so, I'm really not about that, just to be clear. But yeah, YouTube thinks I am. YouTube thinks I am.
But you just click on all the gun videos. That's it.
I find them interesting as
The algorithm-
mechanisms.
Sure, but the algorithm, that's what the algorithm's taking you to.
It's the idea
Yeah.
of the power, isn't it, behind it?
But-
I don't think of course there's a part of that, but it's also just about how
How it
how
works.
numerous and how different they are. Like there's so many different kinds of weapon out there.
Yeah, look at Call of Duty. There's a lot to unlock.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've unlocked all of them now.
Yeah, I mean, you then you're basically a military historian at this point.
Not really.
Apart from the fact you know
they-
all the wrong names.
All the brands are wrong because they didn't pay, like, a multi-billion-dollar company didn't pay for the fucking rights.
Yeah.
But maybe they just didn't want to fund guns.
Well, yeah.
I did not know that. I didn't know Call of Duty had like wrong names for
It
things.
did
Yeah.
previously have them.
Yeah.
Like the AK-47 is called something called like a TAC. Oh no,
Well,
the
that's why
Scar
I'm
is
so
like a TAC
confused all the
56 or something.
time.
And so it's just like, yeah, but you know what it is
It's like
when you pick
PUBG
it up.
makes sense to
Yeah.
me. Oh, that
But
makes
no,
sense.
Where were we? So you're being chased by the ghost face in Scream. You've got your 6-foot pole.
You feel like you're the guy that's going to
What
die
are you doing
first.
against Scream guy? You feel like you're going to die first.
I'm going to stand
Are
behind.
you going to try
Smith
and
with a
preempt
spear.
this? At what point do you feel like you're in the horror film, though? Like, what
When
is it?
it's-
So
when
somebody,
it's
Trott's the protagonist because I'm
drama-
the one with the spear at this point. So Trott's the protagonist. I'm the one. I'm like, it's okay, Trott. I'll defend you. And he's
But
like,
what's the
thank
scenario?
God.
What's the
then
scenario?
I get like nicked.
You get,
Oh, Trott, no!
I still
but you've like blocked up the stairway, and it's given me
You're
enough
like,
time
shit, you
to
got
run
given you a
away.
moment to get
Yeah.
out.
and
Yeah.
you're pissing blood everywhere.
What if the scenario is we're playing wizard sticks? It's a big party.
Nice.
We're in a big mansion, I guess. That's always the saying, isn't it?
We hire out.
But
a mansion.
we're halfway through wizard sticks. We've got staffs that are waist height.
Getting
We're all
up to
having
the
a laugh.
shoulder height.
Hey, wizard beards are on.
That's long.
Wizard
That's a
beards, I
long.
remember
Yeah.
that one. That was
Yeah, wizard beards.
Sorry, just
We got through like what, like
it's-
8 to 10 cans each,
Yeah.
probably. Like it felt like a lot.
It was a lot.
It was all exhausting,
It
wasn't it?
was like by the end, I was
It's just
like,
at the
I
end
don't
of the
want
night,
to
I
be a
just
wizard.
remember
Yeah.
like Astrid throwing up into the wind at the back door. So he fully dressed as a wizard with the beard on and everything.
Throwing up into the
So,
wind.
there
Yeah.
was like a back exit
I love it.
to our flat. And
It was, like, on the second
and
floor.
And obviously, like it got to we'd managed to get to the lofty heights of our own heads with the beers. And he was throwing up. It was a very windy night. It just all went
That's so
back
disgusting.
to him when he's got the fucking crepe beard on, the
Like-
fucking
like-
wizard hat made out of cardboard box, and just like, oh no!
My beard.
It's like, this is fucked.
It's like Saruman yelling at the mountain.
Yeah, yeah. It's coming back to me. That was so fucking
Yeah, it's
funny.
pretty funny. But yeah,
No,
you
but
just get
that's
exhausted,
fucked.
don't you? Like, by the
Fatigued.
It's not fun anymore.
Because
You're
we
just
were
like-
tallest.
Yeah, 6
So it's like we have to get.
something.
There's a couple more cans, and the rest
You
of them
can
like,
take it more though.
fuck. Yeah,
You're
but it's
bigger.
not like that though.
Nah, it is.
It's not the same.
Ashman could take it though. Actually, to be fair,
He did.
to him.
He got there quickly, but
He drank a lot.
He did. We
at
all
uni.
did. Yeah.
But like, I always knew that he drank more than me, and we were like the same height. I was
Yeah.
impressed.
He had his hat on first. Actually, no. I thought you had your hat on first.
I can't.
You have to put the hat on. So you put. So
I
when
can't
when you've made your staff for Wizard Sticks, is it
Taller
Wizard
than
Sticks?
you.
So you buy a crate of beers of
Yeah.
cans, and
We
then
mentioned it before, I think.
yeah, and then you each time you finish a beer, you tape a new one on top of it,
To the bottom of it.
and it creates a
Yeah, on top
A
of
staff.
it.
It
Like
creates a
wizard
staff,
staff, yeah.
and then when you empty the box of beers you've bought, and it gets to above your height, you can
It
then
has
put the
to be
box
above
on
your
your
The
head.
box is then curved
You're
into
not
a
a wizard.
cone, like a wizard's cone, not like any other type of cone. And then
You are a
you're a wizard, and then you get to treat people like a
It's
pauper.
kind of like the.
So some people have to get you drinks or do stuff
Yeah.
for you.
yeah, anyone below
What
your
actually happened? What did they do? What did,
your staff dictates your power level.
that's it. Yeah, you've got power
And
level.
If your staff is bigger than someone else's staff, they are your servant,
Yes, that was
your
it.
squire.
Oh, this was it. Yeah, and he was just like, I need a footrest. And it's like, oh, fuck
and they
hell.
have to be a footrest.
Yeah, something dumb like that.
It's dumb.
And imagine just how much. So I ate way too many mushrooms recently. I grew my own mushrooms, just
Oh, right, those
oyster
ones.
mushrooms.
You just, yeah.
And I was like, I had loads. I had so many oyster mushrooms. And like, these are going to go off. So I made a load of pasta with mushrooms, but I used like
All of the mushrooms.
way too many mushrooms. Way too many.
Couldn't just put that in the
And I was
fridge
like,
for another
God,
day.
my stomach is absolutely killing me after eating this pasta. And I start Googling, and they're like, yeah.
Not edible.
Yeah, a lot of, no, they are edible, but like a lot of mushrooms you shouldn't eat a lot of. Like there are some
Right.
mushrooms where you can eat quite a lot of them, but quite a few,
Oh.
including oysters, are considered quite rich. And like if you eat too many, you're going to give yourself a bad stomach. So I made the executive decision to make myself puke. And I was.
I've never met somebody who was so willing to throw up like after eating things. I normally would just sit with it.
Why though?
I would
It's
stomach
gonna make
and go
yourself
through.
I
miserable.
think you get a
for
kick out of
days.
throwing up.
I just feel like the throwing up process is so.
Again, I think it's a
shit.
power
I
thing,
hate
like
the throwing
guns. You just like
like,
knowing
fuck
that
it, I can do
I can
this.
make myself throw up every time I want.
I think
up. Anyway, so you
that
made
may
yourself
be a
throw up.
part of it, but it's very much about I don't want to spend the whole evening being miserable. Like
Yeah.
you know, I don't. So I puked up, and I was amazed even after 2 hours how whole all of that pasta and those mushrooms still were. Right, like you don't digest very quickly. And where I'm going with this story is
You shout a lot of. Oh no!
when we drank those beers, just imagine the sheer amount of beer that we're flushing through our
it's
fucking
horrible,
body.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
like it.
I felt
it's-
so
How
fucking
did our
rough the
livers
next day,
not
man. That
shut
was
down?
such probably one of the worst hangovers I had at uni. That was
It's
so
just
bad.
so much shitty beer. Like it's
Yeah.
like liters and liters, and your body's like, all right, what's this? Oh, more beer in
I
my
don't remember
stomach.
what beer I had when
It
we
was
did
all
that.
crap, wasn't it?
So,
We were
like-
all
It was like
drinking,
Carling and fucking like Carlsberg.
Yeah.
It was like just, and it's just. Did I have cider? No, I think I mixed with all sorts of different things. That was bad.
It was really.
I think Guinness was
I
one
couldn't
I
do it
had
now.
for a while. No, I just don't think I.
Guinness
It's really-
for
He
Wizard
went with
Sticks.
Guinness. I remember you went with Guinness because you're like, those cans are quite tall. I wouldn't have to
Really?
have that many.
Also, I like Guinness.
I mean, it's nice. A couple of Guinnesses, sure.
Guinness is nice.
I wouldn't have 12. I think it's
Your
pretty much
height
what you have to
in
get
Guinness
to.
was insane.
I was a dark
The
wizard.
trick was to try and get the longest one, right? So there were
Yeah.
pint cans. I think somebody had Stella and stuff, whatever. But like, fuck me,
Yeah.
the entire night was just. Also, yeah, anything, any cider was just fucked.
So anyway,
Memories,
wizards.
wizards.
So
yeah,
the scenario was we were in a mansion.
We're playing Wizard Sticks. We're halfway through. We're obviously we're buzzed.
Yeah.
And then there's a fucking ghost killer from Scream is there, and we're like, whoa,
We're beating
shit.
him back with our wizard
You're
stick.
supposed to be a wizard, bro. You fucked up.
Great
Where's your
robe.
stick?
Wait, he's got a knife. So how are you fighting him?
I
off?
would use
You've got
my
a staff?
wizard stick,
Oh, right.
put a knife on the end
Oh,
of
for
that,
fuck's sake, he's got a knife.
and then
Classic.
boom, I got my own custom spear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that I've done the duct taping well, and then it holds up. So I can
But it'll
shank
just
it.
fold away because it's like it's a load of aluminium cans.
Not if you do it directly, like
Aluminum.
an egg, you know,
Yeah.
when you like squeeze on the top and bottom.
Right.
You use the cylinder's strength.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just do a proper horizontal thrust.
Is it only knives? Is this the only?
Well, it's just a good thing to put on the end of a wizard's. If I try and put
Yeah.
a katana on the end,
You
it's
can't-
going to be
yeah.
weighted,
No,
isn't
true.
it? So I'll get a kitchen knife.
What about just like bottling the fucker? Because there would be
That's
bottles
too
around.
close. I don't want to be
You
close.
don't
to
want to be
that
close. Well, we could
person.
get a load of bottles.
You
throw
like
'em.
throwing thing. I don't trust my aim.
Whoa, okay. But
Especially when I've done wizard sticks.
yeah, that's fair enough. To be fair, we are definitely at a disadvantage once we've started wizard sticks.
You say we're up to here, right? I am wasted.
Over the waist, at least. Yeah,
I am
guess.
dead at this point. I couldn't do it. So
I'm sad at that point.
Too far. It goes too far, doesn't it?
But you want to finish.
you have to. Like, you get past a certain point.
There's a certain point where, like, you start questioning why you're doing it, though.
If you're just here and you're like, well, I didn't make it.
I just got 2/3 of shit.
Then you notice some people like pouring their drinks down the sink and
trying to just tactically get rid of them. Yeah, well, I mean, I'd rather that than Edward Ciderhands.
Oh God, that's worse.
Because Edward Ciderhands, you're not going to be able to fight, and
I got so legless drunk doing that.
It's
like, as
horrible.
in, like, it's the only time I can think of where I was falling over
pre-drinking.
drunk.
That was like,
it was pre-drink
we'll
before
go
we went
clubbing
out.
after this.
Yeah.
What, 3 litres on each hand?
Remember that?
On each hand, yeah.
Was it like James's house? What's his name? James Boyce? Oh, yeah, but we basically taped our hands. Or them to our hands.
Bottles.
You have to finish them before you can leave.
The big ones, you know, the ones you conquista.
Yeah.
Are those 2 litres though? Or the
Those
1.5s?
are like the dumpy.
The real dumpy ones were 3 litres.
I can't imagine doing that with cider now.
3 each.
So sweet.
3 per hand.
3 per hand. Yeah, I did that, but I only did 1 3-litre bottle of Strongbow before I went to a pendulum gig in Swansea, and I just couldn't stand up. Like, I was like, luckily the crowd was like so insanely
knocking
thick
you around.
that I was like just wobbling into people. But I was like, it's like the first or second night there, and I'm like trying to meet people, and I'm just like. Sorry, I'm sorry. Like, because I could still think just about.
But the main issue that they didn't address at the beginning was how are you going to go to the toilet? Because you've got 2 hands
You've drunk a lot.
taped, and you can't untape them because your hands are obviously taped, both of them.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of
That wasn't
find a way.
what
So it's more of a case everyone's like, okay, you want to drink up before you need to piss. That's the first half.
So what? You're just going to expect?
You need to don't break the seal. It was the
There's
rule.
no way the human
and he's like,
stomach can
I'm
take
going to
that
break
much.
the seal, and it's just like, can someone just unzip me? I'll do the hoddle in. It's like, fucking how are you going to get back up? So you can like, you want to finish one of them so you can at least kind of like actually like get some.
Yeah, you could probably drink a 3-litre bottle.
But you
can use the lid of
the
the cistern to you scrape your butt up against the lid of the cistern, the corner, and then eventually that'll pull your trousers and pants down.
That would be funny to see.
Yeah.
Someone's just desperately trying to get their trousers off using a door handle or something. I'm obviously my hands are hooked.
I won't name them, but my friend who's in the police had gastroenteritis once and shat his pants in a Sainsbury's. Like,
How is this relevant?
That's just a random story.
In kit, like in full kit,
in
right?
the police uniform.
Yeah. He risked a fart.
That's good.
And he had to go and like throw away his pants and
Oh my
stuff, and like
God.
all this stuff. Like doing. I just made me think of it, like the awkwardly taking stuff down.
Officer, what's
The
wrong?
horror.
Yeah.
Just
And also,
shouting.
just like if anyone ever approached him, you'd probably be really short with people. Stay back! Stay back! Get away! Get away! It's a crime scene. Just, what the fuck? Is there,
Tape this whole
is
area
there a
up.
toilet anywhere?
Tape it up.
Emergency rushes.
I need
through.
police tape.
Pretty grim.
Oh my
They had to
God.
throw they had to put their pants in like the
Incinerator.
no, in like that like tampon bin.
They shoved it in there.
Fucked.
I think what else would you do? You've got like totally fucked
so it's
pants.
just turds.
What's he
yeah.
got?
What
As
did
a
you wash
replace-
them in the sink?
Yeah, but what's he got as a replacement?
Nothing yet. He went commando under his trousers.
The trousers
right.
must have been affected as well.
I
Yeah.
think maybe he managed to.
No one's pants. I mean, are going to hold all.
They're not going to get away scot free, but like I think the pants took the.
It's enough to get somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
underwear took
God.
the brunt of the attack. Yeah.
Fucked.
Your whole like authoritarian like demeanor
Yeah.
just shrivels
Exactly.
as you shit yourself in a Sainsbury's.
Just walking around Sainsbury's getting your lunch, and then oh
Oh,
no.
I might have salmon.
Walking in with confidence.
Not the pate. I won't have the pate. Oh, shit.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my God. That's funny.
What's
Yeah,
our
okay,
next?
let's try the next. We didn't really resolve. You're going to go for a pole
Spear.
spear weapon. You're going to
Yeah.
take his spear.
I'll stand behind Smith. He
and
dies.
I'm going to just kind of knife whatever I can.
You're gonna-
Knives seem to be the
you got a
answer.
samurai sword.
And throwing weapons and a samurai sword.
You're going to throw samurai sword.
But also, like, yeah, like, I don't know.
What about Home Alone style? Set up your whole house.
If I know it's coming.
Yeah.
Home Alone, the advantage was he
You're
knew
getting
that- he
some
knew
idea-
they were going to rob him.
You're getting the idea that your house might be haunted, your
Yeah.
flat might be haunted. You're seeing weird shit, so you got time.
I'll just set up a load of strategic traps just in general.
I'll put salt
You're
everywhere.
literally home loading it.
Mm.
Yeah, there's just so much work, and like how much like prep time do you have?
Yeah, and it's like you open the other door. Fuck.
That's it.
I rigged up that door.
And then you start forgetting what you've rigged.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what makes Home Alone so ingenious. That kid was smart.
Yeah,
It's a film.
unrealistically smart.
Of course, unrealistic.
Not smart enough to not get left at home during a family holiday.
I know. Or there's what, no one could have looked after him. They couldn't have sent like a.
No, yeah, they've got
a
no
nanny or
other
something, or, like,
family in
any
that
kind of-
area. Well, the whole family lives in one
They're
house.
extremely wealthy. They couldn't just be like, oh, we've sent
God,
someone
that's a
who's going to look
huge
after you.
house.
For a
Yeah.
week. It's like nah,
Home Alone house was insane.
but that's not. Yeah,
And they were
that's-
all going on a skiing holiday with like 5 kids. How much is that going to cost?
Didn't
Huge
someone
amount.
ask? Who's funding this? And it's like, well, I think it was funded by the uncle and the dad.
Right.
It was mentioned at the beginning of some shit. I mean, not that it's such a weird detail to try and care about, but
Yeah. It's
big family holiday for rich people.
one of those easy ways to take apart a film that you're a slightly...
Yeah,
Which I like
but
to
and
be.
also you would never forget your kid. Like you've got a bus full of children that you're just going to forget your own child. Like that is fucked.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, you know.
But that's the
And they all
point.
look similar because they're all like products of you.
Yeah, they're just
They're all
modifiers on
just
your
Like,
own
we've got
face.
the brown-haired one.
We've got a blue-eyed
And
version
it
of
was just
Trott.
this
We've got a
very
tall
loose
version
kind
of
of like, all right,
Trott.
one of you. Like
Yeah.
that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem with being ultra rich and having a huge house. You can't find your kids in there.
That is it.
It was a
And
warning. It was a warning against the
downside.
wealthy.
You find them dead,
Yeah.
and then they haunt the house. Then you got Haunted Mansion,
Haunted Mansion. Fucking hell.
Babadook scenario.
You get Babadook instantly. Instant multi-Babadook. There's more than one. And every cupboard, including the kitchen cupboards, has one in it.
Shit.
What do? You get cups of fuel that you've strategically left
There
around
it is.
the house
The fuel.
and start chucking them into the cup. Imagine that. And then you chuck a match in. See you
like
later,
that.
sunshine. Babadook this. You can't.
I think we got this sussed out.
And yeah.
This is it. Most horror films and horror premises, if you take out the weird ambient sounds
Oh, yeah.
and just add in a person that's going to be like, all right, it undoes the entire premise.
Well, yeah, of course. But that's the whole thing.
I want to feel real fear.
I do as well. That's why things like Paranormal Activity did so well, because
Yeah.
obviously they used, the modern day CCTV element of things. I mean, I don't know if they used a lot of like music score as a kind of a fear factor. I don't think they did, which is I think even more scary. 'Cause it's like, this shit's happening.
You can't
You're
predict
just witnessing
it.
it
Yeah.
happening on a fucking screen, and also
Yeah.
it looked really good. Like when that sheet was coming off, like of the bed and stuff. So
Oh,
just like
Yeah, that
whoa,
was
that's like,
creepy.
so those type of films, work. But yeah, a lot of cheap horror films are very much based on like.
That
kind
was a
of,
cheap horror.
but cheap is in like cheap kind of
jump
tropey,
scares,
right? Yeah. Where it's just like the music's building, and these strings are right like raising up, and it's just like
Well, the
that's-
original cheap horror film was, of course, The Birds.
right.
Get it? It's both a horror film and Birds cheap. It's a clever joke.
So next hypothetical we have here is, what if reincarnation was proven to be true? Imagine if scientists proved that we reincarnate after we die, and some people even have memories of their past lives. How would society change? I'm pretty sure society wouldn't accept it regardless of whether the scientists say it, to be
You
honest.
reckon?
I think they wouldn't. I
There's
think,
always a risk, isn't it? You'd be like, well...
This sounds like a conspiracy.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
believe it.
It's like somebody says, here's a gun. It's got no
Go
bullets
test
in
it.
it.
Yeah.
Go test it against your forehead. You're like, well, I'm never not going to check, I guess. There's actually, literally yesterday, a study
proved
been
it.
published saying that they think they've worked out a way to, like, reverse aging, basically.
Oh, that comes out like every 5
does.
so you can
years.
become a baby again.
So
Finally.
When do you stop is it a pill you stop taking, and then you're like, okay, now I'm reset to...
So the way that they did it, they used an antibiotic, and they attached something to an antibiotic that essentially meant that mice, you could target certain genes, and that would... the idea is that aging happens because of essentially your cells getting corrupted / they forget how to rebuild themselves perfectly.
They
right?
unravel, don't they? The
so
telomeres.
Well,
the
there is
caps.
that. There's caps on the telomeres. There's elements of this, but this is actually focusing on a different thing, which is called endogenetics or something like that. But there's another part of the cell or something that they focused on. But essentially, in mice, they've managed to like make their hair better, repair the eye. So the treatment can be directly injected into the eye to repair eye cells and restore vision. Like, it's really quite impressive what they can do. Obviously, it needs to go through human trials. Obviously, it needs to prove that it doesn't cause
Sign
cancer.
me up.
But like,
Inject my eyes.
the problem is it's probably going to be gated behind cost.
Oh, yeah. Like everything else, yeah.
And we're going to have immortal billionaires.
The fun counter argument to that.
Yeah.
You know when they say like,
Still get shot.
well,
You still shoot a billionaire.
no,
Still fall down a well.
the idea that the rich
Yeah.
always get like the immortality first.
Yeah.
There's the counter argument of like, what about an immortal worker? You know, that they-
What the upside? The upside of an immortal
the upside
worker.
of an immortal worker.
Yeah,
of course,
yeah,
the rich
yeah.
person's going to pay for a
Yeah.
very healthy workforce that's
Yeah.
never going to go sick and anything.
Yeah. No, that's a really good. That's a really good point.
So sign me up. I'll be the worker.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to be the early adopter. I think is the main thing.
Nah,
But so-
I
so-
do.
I'd say that with most
So
things.
there is a potential for this kind of thing in our lifetime, which would be really cool because I want to live a very long time.
I don't want you to, so I'll be shooting you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
you'll
I'll have
make sure you
my
don't.
makeshift spear ready.
Well,
Let's
I
go.
got my wizard stick spear, so
Yeah.
we'll see who wins.
He cut me with a bit of broken
I'm
can.
very drunk.
Get back.
You didn't have to drink all of them.
But what was the actual question?
So, imagine if scientists proved that we were, how would society
reincarnate.
change? That was it. Yeah. So, if you knew that, the reincarnation process is basically where you can come
I
back as
think-
anything, right? So you could be a fucking worm.
I think we've come. Yeah.
I'd like it.
There's that. That's not stipulated. Do you come back?
But if
as a
you come
human?
back as a worm and you happen to have all your memories as a human, that would be fucking shit.
you'd be
I'd rather not.
you'd be putting yourself forward to the closest bird, wouldn't you? To be like, I want to reincarnate again. I'm a
Yeah, to be
fucking
fair,
worm.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's good is I guess those animals die much faster than a human.
They
Would you
do.
want to be
And always
reincarnated
brutally.
as another human? And if so, where would you want to have been born?
I don't think you get a choice.
Where would I want to be born? Well,
I mean, I feel like we were
there's-
quite likely to be born in the UK. The UK has a lot of ups,
Yep.
sides.
We got a lot of. Yeah.
But there are now better upsides, unfortunately. So
Sure there are.
this is
There's also way worse.
There are way worse. Absolutely. Generally speaking, we lucked
still got
out
it
by
pretty
being
good.
randomly born here. But I mean, there are other nations now in Europe and in Scandinavia that are arguably doing better.
I'd probably be in the Scandinavian region. Yeah.
You want to go to Norway? They're doing a pretty
Norway's
good.
great. Maybe Finland.
Yeah.
Education system. I'd be so smart. I'd be bilingual.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool. It'd be cold. But yeah.
Do you think
I'm just trying to find a movie that that I watched that
Reincarnation?
literally had this whole thing in it, where essentially a guy works out that they detected that there was a way that people were reincarnating,
So I think
and so
there's a way
people
to
started
know.
shooting themselves and stuff like that because they're like,
I'll
Time to
re-roll.
Reroll.
yeah, it
literally,
was
yeah.
literally a re-roll. That was how they saw it.
Time to go and respawn.
The thing is, I think
Oh my god, I'm an underwater sea creature that lives for thousands of years. Fuck.
what we've seen recently is, despite strong evidence of science, there's going to be a huge movement of people that deny it, think
Right.
it doesn't exist,
Right, yeah.
and there's always going to be that fear of the scientists are wrong, reincarnation
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
truly exist.
Well, because until you can't prove it until you've. Well, I don't know what's
There's
the
not
proof.
many
They said obviously
benefits. Unless your
they
life is
proved that we
miserable.
reincarnate. So if they proved it, what could possibly prove that?
I think I'd be very happy about it.
It
I
would
would
give
be
you a
very
different.
happy
I think
about it.
maybe more. I'm sure there'll be some
The idea of death would be
faith
less
movements.
terrifying.
Yeah.
What was it? Is it Buddhism? Buddhism?
Yeah, Buddhism
believe
has
in it anyway.
reincarnation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the idea
It's
that
a nice
living
idea,
a
isn't it?
virtuous life means, I think,
You won't be a
potential
worm.
for a better reincarnation.
It's a nice idea thinking that obviously that our consciousness isn't just gone.
Well,
Mm.
there's arguments to state scientifically it never truly does go because energy is never lost, it's only transferred.
Right.
And all the mass that makes us up is literally the universe just experiencing itself.
Yeah.
Do you think you would come back as a tree?
I think if universes are truly
I came
infinite,
back as General Sherman or whatever it is.
I come back exactly as myself.
I've been here so long.
Shield me, another fire's coming.
Fuck.
Another forest
Put
fire.
up the foil.
Foil me.
Oh, I wish for death. I want to re-roll.
What if you
I want to
reincarnate and
re-roll.
You found out you're a shit-eating dog and your owner is me.
I think there's a lot of creatures you wouldn't want to be like fucking, I don't know, a little tick or something, or like a. But then but obviously your mentality would be to have the instincts of that creature, right?
No, you
So
remember being a human.
That's the worrying part. That's the part that I would
I'm
worry
a gut
about.
parasite. This is claustrophobic.
Because sometimes there's times I look at my dog and I think, maybe, what if you were a person?
Oh god.
Normally I'm not sober.
There was
Like, hey, bro. Like, what if you?
Hey.
Hey, have you?
There's a book that made me wink at dogs for a long time
Wink?
when I was a kid because there was like the insight.
That was the communication.
This is like primary school.
This is post Truman Show or pre Truman
Yeah.
Show.
no, this is pre.
This is before you knew
I've
everyone
had
was
lots of
watching you.
existential questions.
Yeah.
The first one was, you know, when like you were so young that the teacher used to read you stories
Yeah.
in a book. One of these books was they unlocked the secret of talking to dogs by you have to initiate a wink at them, and if they wink back, you can suddenly talk to them. So
that happens. Murphy winks all the time.
Yeah,
You can really fuck some kids up with that.
And you thought you
his
were
name was-
trying that. You were trying to get the dog to wink back at you.
So his human name was Jerry,
Right.
and he was in the war. And
His
just
human
give him
name-
a fucking story, a real backstory. Yeah, he killed many people, but eventually, you know, Trenchfoot took him.
He drowned a man by pushing his face into the mud.
He certainly did.
gross.
Packed
I
his
think that's
stomach.
very sweet, Trot. That's very nice, you know. Little,
Well, it's not
little
when
kid
you-
Well, you
walk
got- when you
around
look into
and
those
wink at
dogs'
and
eyes,
hope they
you don't
wink
know.
back.
You don't know. They could be people. Dogs are people.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's nothing.
Previous people.
It's very wholesome.
But then it makes you think, well, fuck, he's watching me take a shit right now. That's weird.
Does your dog come into the toilet with you?
He sometimes does, yeah.
Yeah.
He barges in. He's like, get in.
And then what? He just
Then he
waits.
just sits there, lays down.
And do you like?
He's
Do you keep eye
protecting you.
contact as you drop the deuce?
No, normally on my phone or
He's
something.
protecting you. It's a vulnerability.
It's normally just,
thing.
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
that's
like,
kinda
you're
cute.
vulnerable,
Yeah.
so I'm going to sit here and make sure you don't get attacked whilst you're vulnerable. Because most dogs in the wild, you know, it's a vulnerable position to be in.
Yeah.
That's why they do
That's
it.
it, yeah.
Also,
I do
love
think
When
shit.
he's taking a shit, he's just...
I would love
God
to spend a couple of months just living one of those nomadic lives where you just like live outside with like dogs and stuff, because I think it'd be a very interesting.
well, live what, like in a
with a pack.
Not
of
in an
wolves.
urban environment, first of all,
Yeah.
but like, well, there's places in
You want to be homeless.
there's places
I
in
want to live
mountain
the real life.
in mountain environments where like herders move sheep and things like that long distances over several weeks, and they have to protect their flocks from like wolves and predators and stuff, and so they have these big mountain dogs that they wander around with as well, these big herding dogs. And like there's a good documentary about a guy that does it with like his 3 dogs, and they just walk all across these mountains and meadows and stuff with their flock, just with dogs, and they camp out and the dogs just sleep around, keep an eye on stuff overnight. I just think it'd be a very wholesome experience to just be like, this is like a very early man kind of experience. Obviously farming came a bit later than hunting
Well, your
and gathering,
birthday
but-
is a little different to that.
Right, okay,
actually.
okay.
It is living with a pack of wolves
in a city.
in a city. Yeah, we're just gonna unleash the wolves.
Yeah.
And they've got your scent. We've been training them on your scent for a long time now.
Oh, so I'm running from the wolves.
No,
Good
well,
Do I have my spear?
Well, hopefully,
So if I make shit
hopefully you've got
through-
some climbing gear. You need to get up high.
Yeah, so there's a guy. I can't go because I've just shat myself at Sainsbury's. But there is a guy running around with a mop with a knife on the end of it, screaming about wolves.
Also, yeah,
The
they're-
wolves are coming. They're
not-
going to come for me. They got my scent.
Yeah, we're gonna shoot him, I think.
We'll make it look like an accident.
Oh, I got armed police. I've lived my whole life trying not to get armed police. I've made smoke bombs. I've played with replica weapons. Every time being responsible enough
You made a
to
policeman
not
shit
get
himself?
got by armed police. I didn't make them shit themselves.
you
They had
don't know
gastroenteritis.
the full story, though. do
I
you?
wasn't there, but it is
You gave him
it's
a
a second-hand
laxative.
story. I drugged him for months to try and make that happen, and then I trapped him inside of Sainsbury's. Yeah. No, I mean, it sounds like an exciting video. Let's do it.
All right, sweet. Well, it's already planned, so
Just try and keep the armed police off me for as long as possible, because
we'll do. I've given them all laxatives. So.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Nice. That's
If people believed that the reincarnation thing was true,
yeah.
do you think that would lead to people wanting to just die
Be a lot
sooner?
Yes.
Kool-Aid scenarios.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
As dark as that sounds, I don't mean to bring it
Yeah.
down.
What's new? It's another go.
Because it's like, well, if you are like in severe pain, for example, or whatever, you'd be like, well,
I think
re-roll.
euthanasia, like voluntary euthanasia for like terminal illnesses and like severe pain, would probably be way more lenient in
Yeah.
most countries. Like it's illegal in the UK, but I think it
Yeah.
would be more globally accepted if it was true science. And
Yeah.
I'm sure government-backed like NHS and healthcare and stuff like that would be like, yeah, we know reincarnation exists, so this is more acceptable. Euthanasia.
I also think that like a lot of life is pre-roll, right? As in like it's a lot of what you get to experience in life is because of what came before you, and the factors that you are born into and live around, right? Like, so if you've been born into some really shit circumstances, doesn't even matter if you're in pain or not. You're just like, fuck, I could just re-roll and see if I get a better setup. You know.
I feel like there's still a lot of faith. You'd have to have real fucking faith. That's like cultish level faith.
Yeah.
I think even if a scientist said,
very Kool-Aid-y.
yeah, we think we're pretty sure that you will come back. So I feel like you still. I guess again, it depends on your circumstances, but.
Also, like,
I don't know.
The Jamestown Massacre thing, I didn't realise how fucking horrible. Well, it is horrible, don't get me wrong. But I felt like when I first heard about that story, it was like everyone was on board and they all drank the Kool-Aid willingly.
Oh, no, they
were
with guns
fucking
and stuff
forced to do it.
They were trying to get on the plane.
It's horrible.
We did
horrific.
that in...
Like, even as a cult leader, you can't really, like, manipulate the minds of the people, like, to die.
To that degree. Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's pretty grim.
Pretty terrifying, the idea of...
Culty.
Pretty culty.
It's a bit culty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Faith. But then most religions are kind of culty. But they don't always tell you to go and drink the Kool-Aid, which is good.
They give you just enough freedom so they can have just enough control.
Yeah. And you can keep paying them. Scientology will always baffle me.
Yeah.
Because it's... The guy wrote fiction. Like...
Well, it sounds like Ross needs to be audited.
Yeah, Trott.
And that's enough from him today.
Okay, let's audit me.
Me and Trott are both operating thetans.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
We got high up.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we moved through life.
How do I get to it? Like, how much money do I have to have?
You have to go through all the stages.
Do I want to give you most of my earnings or a percentage thing?
You can't just jump in at the top.
Okay.
You cannot. We need to scream at you in rooms, and I mean, we can't talk too much about this because we'll literally have people following us.
Oh shit!
Like that can and has happened to people, and it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you get the spear out, and you're like, "Okay, motherfucker, let's see how you want to up the ante. I'll up the ante. I'm gonna hire other people to spy on you, and then I'm gonna start putting dog shit through your letterboxes. I'm gonna cause fucking psychological trauma to every single one of your family members if you really want this to happen. And now it's just a project, and we could film that.
Yeah.
If anything, I mean, we could film terrorizing the Scientologist community.
I don't think we'd last very long.
That's quite harassy. There's a harassment button on YouTube.
I don't know if I'm willing to do that.
It does open you up to a lot of threat.
Yeah.
But like that's when you have to start carrying weapons with you.
Yeah, you have to wonder what's going on in your day.
That doesn't sound like the kind of life I want to live.
Well, bad news. Bit of bad news.
Is that my next birthday video?
I sent them several bags of dog shit with pictures of our faces on Polaroid. Cute.
Nice, lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over flash. Too flashed.
Well, I think we've fully...
Well, we've
delved into
the reincarnation thing. You could talk about all
horror movies.
all sorts of angles, but the horror movie thing,
the trick is
Blade
to get
on
a spear.
Blade on a stick.
Have a weapon where you can have a distance from your enemy.
Sorry, the comments really stood out to me. Imagine reincarnating as the pig that ends up in Ross's brain.
What does that mean? So they are a pig. They've been reincarnated from someone else's reincarnated.
Yeah, but for some reason somebody's chose to
brain has been removed. That's a very good point. If reincarnation was proven, do you think animal cruelty would be different?
Yes, I'd like to think so.
100%. Like the way we eat and everything like that would actually change.
There'd also be deniers, right?
There would be, of course, there'll be a community of deniers. But I imagine more people would go like, okay, so I could be eating like someone.
It'd be a lot more.
That's a very different mentality when if you prove it.
I think there's two factors that in our lifetime we will see an end to large scale farming and killing of animals.
You reckon?
First factor
in our lifetime?
First factor,
interesting.
Pollution.
Right.
So Smith is also hoping for the anti-aging pill, so he's thinking 200 years.
But like fish now, most fish that we're eating is contaminated with a huge amount of
parasites.
So much. Well, not just that, like plastics, microplastics, because they're literally swimming in a soup. We swim in a soup of polluted air. They swim in a soup of liquid pollution, right? Like so, like they are. It's almost a thicker version of what we live in a lot of ways. Like that's a really stupid way to describe it when you think about it, but that is kind of
water's like thick air, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a concentration. They're getting concentrated as fuck. And most animals as well. Like you saw in the US, those pigs being fed all that plastic. Yeah. I think that eventually people are going to be like, well, I don't really want to eat what a real animal is eaten. I want it to be grown in a fucking lab that's sterile as fuck. So I know that meat is clean. The second part of it is I think that people will start to sympathize more and more with animals as we understand more and more about them.
I imagine technology would ramp up to make those synthetic meats more possible. I think the fact is obviously now it's more expensive because there are huge farming elements and lobbyists against it.
I think there's a clear drive for those alternatives as well. Like we're noticing way more like
there's more options now, which is good.
Stuff.
But then obviously don't they say that processed foods is the main cause of like cancer? So like it's a real balance.
Yeah, so like processed vegan like tofu as a replacement for chicken, say,
Yeah.
is that still heavily processed? Is that still
Yeah.
I guess so. And anything that's like
Banned.
had to be taken away from its natural form in some way
Yeah.
is processed, right?
There's a huge amount of nuance to it.
But
'cause
obviously,
you've got like
meats and
microbiomes.
processed meats are bad. Like
Yeah.
like cured ham or whatever it is, like just loads of ham mulched up and put into the shape of a
Billy Bear?
Billy Bear, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
huge
just
amount
Billy Bear,
of
but
charcuterie is
obviously-
considered a grade 2 carcinogen by the Food Standards
Yeah.
Organization of all sorts of countries. Yeah.
Do you think Billy Bear ham is like the ultimate symbol of man dominating animal, where they can smush down
Or spam is
a
pretty.
pig
Oh.
into the shape of a bear?
I'll transmogrify you.
And we feed that to our children.
Yes.
Yeah.
They eat it. We have conquered the beasts in such vast degrees.
We embarrass your family by making you look like a bear. We make bears look like pork. Mm.
Yeah.
It belittles both the bear and the pig and the horse that this meat is truly made of.
But then what if these same scientists discover that fruit and vegetables are also people too?
Well, there's an argument for
we're fucked.
plant life
Morally, we're fucked.
being more aware and sentient
Yeah.
than we.
This orange knows what I'm about to do. I'm peeling you. I'm peeling your skin.
Ah!
Taking your
Plants have been
segments.
shown to form some form of like pain response. and
Yeah.
things like that,
Yeah.
so.
It's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's even necessarily about like what's right or what's wrong. You know, like as in, it's kind of, if you look at nature, it's kind of obvious that fruit was designed to be eaten by animals because that's how seeds are spread.
Oh
for
yeah, of course,
example.
yeah.
But like,
We're just
Hold
obviously
on.
playing with the idea of reincarnation being every
absolutely,
living creature.
absolutely.
Or
Well,
thing.
you just
But then
went,
also-
you went
I think that's a
pretty
good question,
You went pretty hardcore creationist just then.
Creationist.
Yeah.
What? Because the banana proves that God exists.
No, you said like
The shape
there's
was
clearly fruit out there designed for.
Yeah. Well, the plant itself has evolved a fruit that's most likely to be eaten
Yeah.
by an animal,
'cause
right?
They want it spread through their poop.
Yeah, or rather, that's what's led it to be successful. It's not even that the plant wants anything; it's just simply is. But like the
But the segments in our hands and the segments on the banana shape
My
perfectly
hand
to fit
fit-
my
Yeah.
mouth, and the peeling is so easy as a handle.
thank you, God. But then also
You
there's
just
like
wanted
all
to
sorts
practice
of like
sucking dick.
fungus elements to it as well, like fungus, as we've seen in The Last of Us, and over the last few years, talking about fungi and fungus has become incredibly interesting and in vogue. But
Mushrooms
like
are cool.
they are, and also fungus and fungal spores exist like everywhere. Like, you know, there's probably some in this room, you know, floating through the air, and
Yeah, it's
how
'cause you
they
keep eating those
interact with
fucking
every single
oyster
living
ones.
thing. Yeah, sorry guys,
And then you're farting a lot.
I'm just in here spreading fungal spores.
That's how the pandemic will start.
me farting.
The whole Last of Us will begin from like farty oyster mushrooms.
I've got a literally arrived today. I've got a lion's mane mushroom grow kit now, so I'm gonna
Nice.
grow a big old brain.
Good.
What makes it a lion's
Nice.
mane? Does it have like
To
a
eat
It
the
frill?
looks
brain.
like the mane around a
Time
lion.
to
like
eat the
It's
brain.
like a big round thing.
That's cool.
Anyway, yeah, we could get into all sorts of stuff I don't really know very much about, but
So that's
We've
what
been
these are
doing
all
that
about.
for hundreds of episodes.
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
quite 100,
Yeah.
at least 126.
Well, that's enough of that for today, at
Yeah.
least, shall we say.
Indeed.
Huge thanks to our patrons for supporting us and
Thank you.
ultimately allowing us to talk shit for an hour or so. So thank you for that. And also thank you for tantalizing our eardrums with your fingers, which you can send to hatchat@hat-films.com. Send them in nicely like Rectum did.
Thanks,
Very nice name,
Rectum.
Thanks, Rectum.
Oh, I took my snow tires out in the summer. Wrecked them.
Fucking hell. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll see you next. If you want to tune in live, by the way, it's on twitch.tv/hatfilms on Thursdays now instead of Fridays.
Yeah.
But the podcast is going out regular time
Yeah.
of the weekend. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
One quick thing.
Yeah?
Did you hear that diarrhea runs in your genes?
See you next week, everybody. Bye.